Hopefully by the end of this video we're gonna see this van running, driving, lowered, dropped and on springs, and he's so happy about it.
You're optimistic, aren't you?
An engine from a scrapyard, here we go.
Yeah, I've got some liquid gold coming out of here. Scrapyard. That's where we should be sending it.
We talked about this earlier. We're having some projects together. I like some new ideas to lower a van and do something silly with it. And Graham
Doesn't like the idea at all.
So I think this is going to work out really well. So if you see that video when I just do sum it up, when I bought this van, it was 200 quid with an engine buggered in it, overheated in the motorway, so wouldn't start after that, no compression, and now we end up in here. So the project is, we're going to change in an engine, thanks to Graham and T-Oak 4x4, because otherwise I'm going to be buggered because I'm not a car mechanic, I'm doing sales, so I'm just a hobby mechanic. It's a bit different. And he's the man with the expertise. So today's episode is going to be about changing the engine and maybe lowering the van.
I don't know, maybe. You've already bought the parts.
I already bought lowering springs, alloy wheels. And as we find out, the engine have issues, but later on about the engine, because that was a bit of a lemon feeling about that, is it, mate?
Yeah.
I wasn't planning because I bought the engine 5 months ago. So after all the investigation, the cam belt wasn't broken, as been stated one of them, the viewers, Martin Jackson 565. The reason was overheated and probably blown the head gasket.
We'll get the engine out first and stick the engine in.
And fingers crossed.
And then hopefully it goes brum.
So we need to take off everything so we can drop the engine down in the bottom. That's the plan.
It's not the plan for now, it's the plan of how it's happening. That is how it's coming out.
Well, I don't want to go back and get something because you're going to get pissed off with me again because I'm leaving and you do all the job by yourself. Which is quite right.
Well,
but
you're fucking starving shit now, have you?
Exactly. I can't argue with that. I've done a little bit.
What?
Exactly. Only done the clutch, and I went to the dirty engine and I put my hand in it so it looks dirty. That's it.
Fell over.
Yes, I did. You're the professional asking you what to do. I thought you used to be good with the apprentice. Obviously you're getting old now.
No, got no patience for apprentices.
You're not?
Not anymore.
Well, that's because you're getting old.
Yeah.
So you're not happy with apprentices anymore? I'm not going to be a good one for you then.
Pardon?
I'm not going to be a good one for you then.
No, because you haven't done yet. Look, you clean that mess up that you're walking in.
That's what I got all day. Where's this wire go?
That's the dog see the rabbit. Huh?
Where is it?
Into that sheath in there.
Yeah, I know, but where up there that cable goes?
Goes into the loom.
Oh, and the
That loom that I asked you to take off, but you didn't. But I took it off.
We're disconnecting the exhaust, drive shaft, taking all the pipes off, all the wiring, so we can lower the engine down in the bottom of the engine bay. At least I've done one job.
You got it off?
You're proud of me now?
Well
Yes.
then.
You're probably not. You're not impressed.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yeah, I can take. You got the torch. That wiring loom there needs unclipping off the block.
But from there,
Yeah, just needs unclipping off the block. So what's happening then? You got that off now?
I got that clip off. I took.
So that wiring loom's disconnected. Is it bollocks?
Which one? Oh, it's bolted to the engine, is it? No, it's clipped on.
And then you know what time it is?
It's 7 o'clock somewhere.
Pub time.
So after all the bickering and the whinging is going on, with disconnecting more wires and pipes, then the engine is ready to be dropped. You want some lights?
Some dirt in the face. Fucking hell, I could have washed this first.
We could. Why we didn't? Finally, we were ready to take the engine down. Gently lower it down to the hydraulic table and lower it down. Took us about 10 minutes. Yeah?
Yeah, go on. Go on.
Hang on, it's catching again.
Oh,
What?
I think we're out much.
Okay.
That's it. Job's good 'un.
So the engine is out thanks to Graham. So it's Friday evening, bank holiday weekend, and tomorrow morning, sorry, it's not Friday, Thursday evening. Tomorrow morning we're going to come in and put the new engine in there. But before we put the engine in there, just see what happened just a few hours ago when we were preparing the engine. This is the engine I bought from a scrapyard, and right now we're having fun with it.
Yeah, so I thought I'd just start taking off all the ancillary bits and pieces that breakers do, cut them all off. And then I noticed that the inlet manifold wasn't bolted on properly. So took the inlet manifold off and then found that the bores were full of water. So I think the car's been sat outside the engine's been sat outside for a bit.
Yeah, because I had a video from the engine running, so I thought when they shipped it, they brought it in here, but obviously the engine been laid off for 5 months now, since the engine been delivered, because that's another project we've been doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not.
And since we've had it, it's been sat in the container, so it's never been outside. So prior to it coming here, then it's been sat outside for a bit.
Problem is, I can't go back to the scrapyard now because it's gone 5 months. So it's not something you can say straight away. It's like, hang on a minute, mate, you delivered this engine and it's full of water, you know. So it's more than 450 quid to this engine. I bought the new cam bed set, clutch kit, all the filters.
Yeah.
And it looks like at the moment it could be a lemon.
I don't think so. I've seen them in worse conditions than this, especially when they come to breakers and they've been sat round for a while. So all we've done is pulled the glow plugs out of it, spun it over, got all the water out of the system, drop a bit of acetone inside the bores then, leave it for a minute, spin it over again a couple of times, and what the acetone will do is it will dry up some of the water, spin it over, fire that out, and then a bit of oil in there, just so it can then run down into the balls and kind of give the sealing surfaces a bit of a chance.
A bit of a cleaning and a bit of lubrication, because at the moment it's not looking good.
So then now just got to drop the manifold back on it, and then we'll do the cam belt. Lube her up first, son.
Yes, she likes it that way. We're looking your side.
Oily.
Can we push it down both sides or something while you're hitting it?
It's not playing ball. They either go in piece of cake,
Or it's going to be a
arse.
pain in the... Yes. So the problem we have, the seals is a little bit stretched. That's why it's a bit of pain in the backside to put it in. It is what it is. It's going to be quite interesting because one of them, the pipe on that other engine, is blowing water out, or something blowing water out in that engine, but I don't know what it is.
Right. Well, hopefully it's one that we've got.
Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know on time. So glow plug seems to work. I got a new filter.
Okay.
It's in the box. I got new air filter, new fuel filter, new oil filter.
At least it's got some compression now.
It's not a low compression engine anymore, is it?
No.
So that's to locking up the cam belt.
So that's, we'll lock the camshaft up first. And then I'm sure these pulleys are keyed. So you've got to be careful sometimes that if that, got to make sure that these are keyed. So some of them are fully floating.
Yeah, so this is the...
That's a keyway. So if that keyway's not there, that can go in any direction. The same as with the crankshaft. So when you pull that off, you've got to make sure that then the crank is locked solid. But because this is keyed, we could get away with not locking the crank up.
Okay. Let me just show to the viewers what's happening in here.
So we've got a pin there. There's a hole here for the fuel pump to be pinned. Now the fuel pump on this engine doesn't really need to be pinned.
Oh, because it's not timed.
Because this a high pressure pump. It's not like the old conventional where it's all pistons.
Need to be timed, yeah.
The only time it's got to be is if there's a sensor on the front, because sometimes instead of having a crank sensor, a cam sensor on here, they put them on the fuel pump. So that's the only. But
not this time, not on this engine.
But there's a hole for it, so
it might as well do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if the viewers doesn't have a locking system, they just can use a bolt or bending some piece of...
Yeah, normally that's M8 bolt, it should be M6.
Right. So if you have that at home, you can use that sort of stuff. Water pump, tension pulley.
Is there a note on that? There's a paper one, sorry. So if you get a metal one, it will say don't put silicone on it.
Right, but this one you can.
But that one you just put a little smear on them.
It's just to make sure they seal as well, is it?
Yeah, you don't go mental on it, it's only a smear.
You don't need to be like a bricklayer, you know, or a plasterer, so you don't... So yeah, when you're taking the old water pump off, it's always worth to check in if they're actually the same, is it?
Just make sure you always kind of note if there's a side for it to go on. Because sometimes these bearings will have like a little top hat on them.
Ah, you mean there's a different recess on a bearing?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's important really, not put it on the wrong way, because then the belt is not going to sit in the right place then.
Tensioner.
Come on. So what we need to know about the tensioner?
So on this one you've got a little tit here. So this
right.
little tit sits in there.
That's basically there to hold the tension, isn't it? So that's why it's this little ear in here for the tensioner. So everybody need to make sure you put that in there. Otherwise you're going to be in a bit of a pickle and the belt is going to jump off.
And then we'll have a go at tensioning it like...
Once the belt is on.
So this little pin here, basically you put it on, you pull the pin out, and then it's supposed to be tensioned in the right place. But it never works. Sometimes they'll have an arrow, but I've always just done it as a practice. You have the writing facing this way.
Yeah, because most engine spinning on the right.
I don't think it really matters. It's just, you know, when you've just done something, that's how you've always done it.
Right.
Because that's how I've always done it. And so non-tension side wants to be tight.
So you always make sure you're getting this.
So you want that one nice and tight, and then this side's got all the slack then.
So if you're a DIY mechanic, how do you know you've done a good job?
So now, all you do now, pull all your pins out, spin the engine over a few times, and then as long as all the pins all go back into the correct hole, then you're golden.
How do you know what tension you need to put on this one, or this is fully automatic?
So it's an automatic tensioner.
So anybody do that at home, they just need to make sure they tighten it up in the right way, and that's it.
So they'll all have different things. So this one will be, you've got this little lug here, which will line up, and there's normally like a little pin that shows you where you've got to line it all up to.
So it's simple as that?
Yeah.
I'm just putting all the plastic covers back onto the cam belt. So I'm ready to move to the other side of the engine to take the old clutch off and start fitting the new clutch. That's the taste of the clutch. New one goes in a minute. I don't have any brake cleaner, but you should use something before you put the cover on, clutch cover, because they got these residues on, so it's better to clean it. They put that on so they don't rust. So I got acetone in here. I'm gonna clean it with acetone. It smells really bad, but it does the job. So clutch goes on like this. Then using one of these centerpiece. Centerpiece goes through like that. Well, welcome to the new day.
New day, new dawn.
Yes, exactly. Friday morning on an Easter bank holiday. And as you've seen just now in the video, this is the engine, came from the breaker's yard. And we had a bit of a pickle because it was full of water. And we said like 5 months it's been laid off in your container. So it's not get soaked in. So we don't know if this is going to be a lemon or not. And this is the engine. As you see, we took it out. So we need to transfer some bits and bobs because it's more or less as a complete engine, but it's still more stuff to go into that engine, isn't it?
Yeah, I've taken quite a bit off. We've got to put wiring loom on, anything from a breakers. They don't care about wiring looms, they just chop them straight off. Even when there is just a multi-plug and they could just unplug it. For some reason, they'd like to cut everything. Hoses, the lot. So we've just got to transfer all them over. We've already got the cam belt on, the clutch, new clutch on. Pretty much that's it. With that engine, we found the fault with it. So there's
yeah, so I'm going to show you it's a pipe.
Yeah, so a hole in the pipe with that. But luckily we've got a pipe that comes with this engine. So that's it then.
So the first problem we already have transferring over bits for the engine is the inlet manifold, which we played around yesterday to put it on and was an absolute ball ache to put it on. And we got the engine out and looks like the only difference, as Graham found out, is this inlet part. It's in a different angle and a different angle in that one. And why is that, you reckon, mate?
I don't know, they must have just done a revision at some point. Maybe they changed how the throttle body is or something, but it's only minute. So
it is, it's just
but
one step forward, 2 steps backwards, isn't it? When you're transferring an engine over certain bits.
pretty much. Sometimes it ain't just as easy as just chuck an engine in and away you go.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're gonna transfer that bit over. Hopefully we not find anything else. So just to show you which was the offending item, this pipe in here. The top bit was in a different angle, just kicking out, so wouldn't reach. So we have to change the manifold. So that was the fella. We're just putting the fuel system on, and Graham pointed out to me, which is this sensor down in here, just buried right in there, which is.
So that's like, these are kind of like the things that you miss when you're doing engines. You'll miss a plug somewhere, and then it won't start, and because you've then put the gearbox and everything else on, you don't know what wire you've left off, so then you end up either you can put the computer on them, and then it will tell you what sensor's not working, so you've got an idea, but it's just a bit of a pain if you kind of, especially when you forget something that's buried down down the back. But other than that, you just got to kind of, as long as you do each one as you go along.
And not forget it, like I forgot it to do up one bolt.
Yeah, this engine's quite tidy, it hasn't got that much wiring. If you get some cars, and it is just an abundance of sensors everywhere, and it's quite easy then to miss one.
Okay, and we got some other bits in here as well, like tensioners and stuff like this, what we have to transfer over.
Yeah, so them couple of bits, and then it's ready to go back in the hole.
Excellent. Transferring everything from the old engine to the new old engine was quite a simple method. Just double check everything. Some pipes was broken, some cables was broken, and some connections as well. So everything was swapped over to try to make sure we do all our work before the engine go back into its place, because it's much easier to work on the bench than in the van. So we're transferring the alternator now, and the alternator got these sleeves, which is when you wind in, they're expanding, and that's how they lock in, which is on older alternators used to be different because it's just a bolt through, hold it in. So it's a bit different method to put it in.
Yeah, it's only these engines that I've come across with these, so they're a bit of a fiddle, but they just slide in
like that.
Just like that. So, because normally when you've got, like on there, you've got the exhaust and everything, you can't get these bolts out.
Right.
So they are just, as soon as they're loose, then they'll just slide out.
Yeah.
And slide back in. But when they're in the car, they're a lot more of a pain.
It's easy on a bench.
Yeah.
So to take the gearbox off, there is this bolt. It's connected up. So before you can take the gearbox down, you have to disconnect the catalytic converter, and then we can rip off the gearbox, which is quite a good way designing an engine and gearbox, especially if you need to do clutch. So it's just a complete ball ache, is it?
Yeah. So there is a clever fix for that.
Is it?
Yeah. You wind it out so far, you get the disc cutter, cut the head of the bolt off, never to go back in again. So the next time you have to do a clutch on it, you don't have to do it.
That's a good idea.
And you'll find that, Christ, must be 90% of the engines have all done that.
Really?
Anybody that's done a clutch on these would have probably cut that bolt off.
Top tip! The last thing coming off from the old engine was the gearbox. That's what we need to transfer over. Praised off quite easily, and put a new release bearing on with some copper grease so it slips on a lot easier. Put the bolts back on, apart from that one missing one. Then off we go. So there we go. The engine is built up now. Ready to go back in. It's good going, isn't it, mate?
It's not too bad. It's not too much crap to swap over. So
that's the main thing. So everything is new on it. So drive belt, clutch, timing belt, new oil filter, new fuel filter, new Jubilee clips, because they have these funny clips on, is it? The one usage clips.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah.
Next thing next.
Stick it in the hole and let's hear it go brum.
I was getting super excited because the engine started going back into the engine bay. Only a day, less than a day, and the engine is already back in with all the service parts on it. Bit of a hustle, bit of a fiddle. Luckily, with Graham experience, was so easy. So just we make sure everything, all the pipes went back correctly. Then we're fitting back the drive shaft, fitting back all the cables, putting back all the plugs in. Apart from the one plug, I forget it, which is we come to later, and I'm breaking the bad news to Graham in a minute. The battery in here.
Where's the battery?
Up in the yard, in Alex's yard.
What? How are we supposed to start it?
I'm gonna run up for it.
Huh?
I can run up. We have to forget it.
We're like 5 minutes away from making it go brum, and you forget quite an important part.
Oh, it's trying. Trying. It's not turning quick enough, is it? Is it? Don't want to burn out the starter.
She's got air in it.
Hey.
Oh, way up.
What's this? It's a lot of oil coming down, mate.
Yes, see, there's a lot of oil coming out.
I can't see.
Don't look like it. Well,
Somebody's nicked the copper washer.
What? You mean, seriously?
I won't worry. What was that one that you had? Somebody nicked the piston.
Yeah, the Fiesta XR2i, you went for a breakers yard and somebody nicked one piston and Conrad and built the engine back up.
Yeah. And she's mint.
The drive shaft is spinning because it's not connected in. That's a result. And that's down to me forgetting putting that sensor back in. Huh? That was me. That was me who never put the sensor in, so that's why it never started. Oops. So the suspension been taken out. The new spring is gonna go in a minute. You might ask why I didn't buy new shocks. Well, I didn't because I tried to save some money. So 40mm, it's going off from the actual size of the van. You might like it or might not, but it was a bit of a hassle to take the odd nut and bolt off, then just back on, simple as that, then ready to be go back under the van, and that's it. Final part, van is lowering and she is ready. So that was a day and a half, Graham, is it?
Not bad. Not bad day and a half, is it?
Not bad day and a half. The van is done, lowered, which is maybe not your cup of tea, but if T-Ox 4x4 wasn't for this video, this van wouldn't be fixed and it's still gonna be a scrapper because I bought this van for 200 quid. I not thought it up yet, but I gotta put the figures, everything in here, just to find out how much I actually spend on this 200 pound van. So big shout out and huge thank you to T-Ox 4x4. And this is what we was on about on a 4x4 Expo, what project we're doing. And there's another one coming up and this is not completely finished. So we got the van done so far, but it's more come to it because we lowered it, alloy wheels on it. What's your thoughts on that? You know, some people don't like lowering vans, some people do.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of lower vans. Cars I can get away with, but vans are for doing stuff with, putting building materials in or couriering stuff, not driving around and can't put nothing in the back because then all of a sudden it scrapes the floor.
But actually this one never went down that far, is it?
No.
Because we thought we're gonna go a bit more down, but
It's still got time. It's still got time to settle.
yeah.
But as a project goes for us, it's done. So it's now up to you to start cleaning it and making it
Clean
a bit
it.
tidy.
This one gonna come off. That's the next project, and something else gonna go on. Is either paint or wrap. Have a guess. Drop it down in a comment, because that's gonna be not a white van anymore. Let's put it this way. It's gonna go into a different scheme on this one.
Yeah. But at least we're up and running. As you've seen, we've had a couple of small issues with the engine and some stuff that you just can't get away, oil leaks and what have you. So, but that's part and parcel of getting second-hand engines. You can't expect it all just to bolt straight in, fire up, and never have any
Hunky-dory.
Yeah, never have any issues. It's you don't know what kind of life it's had before. Especially breakers, they tell you it's low mileage, never been thrashed, and you can bet your bottom dollar that it's been beat to the daylights out of it. So
So follow us, follow Teok 4x4 on Facebook, because you're posting a lot of stuff and a lot more stuff going on in here, 4x4 stuff, and not just 4x4 stuff. Thank you for watching.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.